My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in 1962. These were the first words of a mysterious letter addressed to the FBI from a rather unsolved escape from the world's safest prison on a small island of San Francisco. But is this letter really from John? And if that's the case, how did he get out? In today's video, I will tell you everything we know about this prison incident that happened 62 years ago, and no one has come to a conclusion as to whether the escapees survived or drowned in the icy cold water. By the end, you can conclude for yourself if John really managed to cross the frigid water safely, or if this letter is nothing but a hoax. Let's begin. Just 1.25 miles from the northern shore of San Francisco, there is an island with a notorious prison called Alcatraz. It was famous for being the most isolated maximum security prison and got defunct back in 1963. In its prime, consider this place as a living hell for inmates. Originally designed as a military fortification, it became a notorious federal prison in 1934. It has housed some of America's most notorious criminals, like Al Capone and George "Machine Gun" Kelly, and earned a fearsome reputation as an escape-proof prison due to its isolated island location and stringent security measures. That's why it got nicknamed The Rock. During its functional years, hardly anyone attempted to run away from this escape-proof facility. This doesn't mean that no one ever did try. In fact, during the 29 years that Alcatraz was functional, at least 14 escape attempts were made. What happened to them? Let's see. 23 escapees were recaptured, 7 were shot and killed, and at least 3 drowned while trying to swim across the water. Tragic, I know, but that's what you get when you want to escape a sentence from the world's safest jail. Remember the letter we showed you at the beginning of the video? That was from an Alcatraz prisoner, John Anglin. So who is Anglin, and did he really manage to fail all the high security measures of Alcatraz? And why is he announcing his existence after 50 years of escaping jail? John Anglin was born in a family of 14 children in Donaldsonville, Georgia in 1930 and was no stranger to trouble. He, along with his brother Clarence, were told to be inseparable. The duo mastered swimming and could swim in the frigid Lake Michigan. This talent would later on prove to be their rope between life and death. Both John and Clarence went into the wrong stuff at a very young age, and their criminal record has ranged from bank robberies to car thefts, earning them a reputation as a skilled and elusive fugitive. However, it was the involvement in a series of bank heists that eventually landed them behind bars. After serving 35 years of jail time in the Florida State Prison, Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, and then Atlanta Penitentiary, they got transferred to Alcatraz in 1960. John and his brother had lots of practice to escape jail in Atlanta, and that's why they got transferred to Alcatraz to really put a stop to their activities. But little did they know that it was only a matter of time before both of the brothers would eventually evade tight security and vanish from the state. The official story says that the brothers didn't make it to safety, and their bodies were swept out into the cold, icy ocean. But is this true? Before we answer that, please take 2 seconds to help me out. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Each like and subscribe helps support this channel and keeps me motivated to keep making you valuable content. Thank you. Now back to the video. If you visit Alcatraz today as a tourist, you can actually see the small and shabby cell where Anglin was kept and the gaping hole in the wall behind, which was used to flee the cell and prison life. So, how did they devise the escape plan and dig their way through the wall without detection? Stay with me to know every single detail. The two Anglin brothers, along with 2 other inmates, Frank Morris and Alan West, meticulously devised and executed one of the most audacious escape plans in the history of Alcatraz. It began with the gradual preparation of makeshift tools over months. They used things like metal spoons from the cafeteria, discarded saw blades, and a drill crafted from a vacuum cleaner motor. Slowly, they kept chipping away at the concrete walls of their cells, working during the night to avoid detection. With patience and precision, they gradually enlarged the vents in the back of their cells, creating access points to the utility corridors behind the walls. The sound was masked by Morris, who played his accordion during their drilling time. How long do you think it took them to make this hole? Take a moment to guess it in the comments below. I'll reveal the answer at the end of this video, so be sure to stay with me to find out. When the holes were wide enough for the men to access the unguarded utility corridor right behind their cells, they climbed into it and started using raincoats and other materials to construct a flotation device to be used in the water surrounding Alcatraz. While they weren't inside their cell, their place on the beds was taken by decoy heads, which they made with soap, toilet paper, and hair clippings. Finally, on the night of June 11, 1962, the inmates put their plan into action. Utilizing the enlarged vents, they crawled through the utility corridors and reached the roof of the cell block. West found that the crumbling concrete around his vent had hardened, causing the grill to fix in its place. Unable to squeeze through the opening, he didn't manage to break free that night, and later on cooperated with the investigation. The rest of the three men descended to the ground level using a series of pipes and vents and left West behind. Despite encountering several obstacles, including locked doors and barred windows, they eventually exited the prison premises. On top of that, no one suspected something was not right until the morning of the next day. It's true that they did really escape Alcatraz, but no one knows if they made it to the mainland or not. For the next 10 days, there was an extensive search of land, air, and sea. According to official reports, some fragments of rubber were found on or near Angel Island, which was their intended immediate destination after leaving Alcatraz. From there, they planned to reach the Marin County mainland and steal a car and some normal clothes from a retail store. But guess what? No such crime was reported, meaning they couldn't have roamed around in prison clothes without getting noticed. Over the next few days, things like a plastic-wrapped wallet and shreds of raincoat material were found on a beach not far from the Golden Gate Bridge. The FBI agents believed that all three men drowned in the water, and although a Norwegian ship did spot a floating body 17 miles from the bridge, they didn't report it until October. But can a dead human body float for a month? Probably not. Anyway, FBI investigated the case for 17 years, and their final conclusion was that the prisoners most likely drowned in the cold waters of the bay while attempting to reach Angel Island. So, if the men didn't succeed in gaining freedom after all, then who sent the letter to the FBI? Over the years, several sightings of the escaped men have been reported. Some family members of the Anglin brothers have even received postcards and messages reportedly from the brothers. In 2013, a letter addressed to the San Francisco police surfaced. The writer claimed to be an 83-year-old John Anglin. He wrote that he and the two others indeed survived that night, but barely. According to him, after escaping Alcatraz, they went to South America. The supposed writer, John, said that Clarence died in 2008 and Frank in 2005. John went on to tell the police that he now had cancer and wanted medical attention in return for no more than a year's jail. He said if they accepted his terms, he would get back to them with his location. The FBI wasn't convinced and did a series of forensic tests on the letter, comparing the handwriting, finally deeming the results inconclusive, and to this day, their status as fugitives remains unsolved. The escape hole that John and his mates made in the cell wall took 6 months. And to be honest, for what? Because no one knows their whereabouts. What do you think? Did they survive the escape, or did the cold water take them down? Tell us in the comments. If you found this interesting, please don't leave without clicking the like button and share the video with others. Check out this video next if you want to learn more about the American gangster Al Capone, who also spent a sentence at Alcatraz. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you in that video.